That evening, after a long, exhausting day of searching, Shola stopped at Aya Suliat's shop. She was drained, hungry, desperate for a distraction. And what better comfort food than Aya Suliat's famous pepper soup? She ordered a plate, barely paying attention as she ate. Then, her spoon hit something hard. She frowned, picking it up. A bracelet. Her breath caught in her throat. It was familiar. Too familiar. With shaking hands, she turned it over. Engraved inside was a name, Femi. Her brother's bracelet. Her stomach lurched. She was eating her brother. Shola didn't scream. Didn't cry. She forced herself to remain calm. With a fake smile, she asked for a takeaway, pretending she had an urgent call. The streets of Okojo Market came alive at dusk, bathed in the dim glow of flickering streetlights. The air was thick with the aroma of sizzling meat, ripe fruits, and the sweat of traders who had spent the entire day hustling. But among the countless food vendors in the market, one stall stood out. Aya Suliat's pepper soup was not just a meal, it was an experience. Her shop was a modest wooden shack, nestled between a plantain seller and a fabric trader. Yet, it was the busiest place in the market every evening. The moment she lifted the lid off her massive iron pot, releasing a wave of rich, intoxicating aroma, people swarmed in. No one could resist it. Some whispered that she used a rare spice from the north. Others believed she had a secret herb that made the body crave more. Whatever it was, her pepper soup had turned into an addiction for many, drawing customers from every corner of Lagos and even from other states. But the true secret behind her irresistible flavor lay not in her spices. It lay in the fresh, human meat she cooked every night. Aya Suliat had been in the food business for over 15 years, but she hadn't always used human meat. In the beginning, she struggled like every other food seller, barely making enough to keep her stall open. But one night, a customer, a desperate, starving man, had dropped dead in her shop. She had panicked, unsure of what to do. Then an idea struck her. Meat was meat, wasn't it? With shaking hands, she had chopped up the body, mixed it with her soup, and served it the next day. To her surprise, customers raved about how much better the soup tasted. They came back in even larger numbers, demanding more. That was when she knew she had stumbled upon something dark, something powerful. But to keep up with the demand, she needed a steady supply. So, she found boys. Young, ruthless street boys with nothing to lose. They lurked in the shadows, hunting for victims, lonely travelers, unsuspecting strangers, people who wouldn't be missed. Every few nights, they delivered fresh meat to her in black nylon bags. It was a perfect system. Until the night everything went wrong. The market was buzzing as usual when Wesiu, one of Aya Suliat's boys, stepped into her shop. His face was tense, his hands empty. "Madam," he muttered, shifting nervously. "We no see meat today." Aya Suliat, who had been slicing onions, paused. Slowly, she turned to face him. "You mean to tell me," she said in a dangerously quiet voice, "that in this entire Lagos, you couldn't find one person?" "Police they patrol everywhere," Wesiu mumbled. "We no fit risk am." Aya Suliat's grip tightened on the knife in her hand. No meat meant no business. And no business meant suspicion. If she suddenly closed for the night, people would talk. They would wonder. She had to think fast. That was when she saw him. Across the street, a man was parking his car. He was tall, well-dressed, his white shirt slightly wrinkled from a long day at work. He moved with the tiredness of someone who had spent too many hours in meetings. Femi Tond. The son of Mr. and Mrs. Tond, one of Lagos's wealthiest families. His father owned Tond Holdings, a massive construction company. Femi often ate at her shop. And tonight, fate had brought him here at the perfect time. A slow, deliberate smile spread across Aya Suliat's face. She had found her meat. Femi sat down, rubbing his temples. He had barely eaten all day, and the smell of Aya Suliat's pepper soup was too tempting to ignore. "Give me a big plate," he said. "I need this after today." "Oh, Oga Femi," Aya Suliat cooed. "You came at the right time. Fresh pot just ready." She turned to prepare his meal, her hands moving with practiced ease. But as she scooped the broth into a bowl, she reached beneath her apron, pulling out a small vial. A few drops of clear, odorless liquid dripped into the soup. Femi dug in, savoring the flavors. But as he ate, something felt off. His fingers tingled, his head swam. He tried to stand, but his legs buckled beneath him. His world went black. Femi never made it home that night. His parents were worried he had never stayed out this late without informing them. His phone rang and rang, but he didn't answer. Shola, his 25-year-old sister, felt uneasy. She and Femi were close, almost like twins. They had even bought matching bracelets on a family vacation last year. Hers was silver, his was gold. Something was wrong. By morning, they reported him missing. Hours later, his car was found abandoned at the outskirts of Lagos. The doors were unlocked. The engine was cold. But there was no trace of Femi. That evening, after a long, exhausting day of searching, Shola stopped at Aya Suliat's shop. She was drained, hungry, desperate for a distraction. And what better comfort food than Aya Suliat's famous pepper soup? She ordered a plate, barely paying attention as she ate. Then, her spoon hit something hard. She frowned, picking it up. A bracelet. Her breath caught in her throat. It was familiar. Too familiar. With shaking hands, she turned it over. Engraved inside was a name, Femi. Her brother's bracelet. Her stomach lurched. She was eating her brother. Shola didn't scream. Didn't cry. She forced herself to remain calm. With a fake smile, she asked for a takeaway, pretending she had an urgent call. Then she walked away as fast as she could. She showed the bracelet to her parents. They took the soup to a laboratory. The results confirmed the horrifying truth: it was human flesh. Police stormed Aya Suliat's shop that night. What they found made even the most hardened officer sick. A freezer filled with neatly packed meat. Some still had tattoos. Others had rings on their fingers. And in a drawer beneath the counter, they found Femi's wallet. Under intense questioning, Aya Suliat confessed. She revealed how she had been paying thugs to supply human meat, how she had killed Femi when her supply ran out, and how she had his car dumped to cover her tracks. Her case shook Lagos to its core. She was sentenced to death by hanging. People still whisper about Aya Suliat's case. Some say she used juju, that her food had supernatural powers. Others insist it was just the human flesh. But one thing is certain. Not everything delicious is safe. And sometimes, the deadliest things come in the most tempting packages. Thank you all for watching. From the depth of my heart, I really appreciate you guys for watching and supporting me. Please, if you haven't subscribed, click on the subscribe button to do that. Turn on the notification button so that when I post a new interesting stories you will be the first to watch it. Please comment, like and share to your loved ones. See you in my next story.